Hear, hear. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. Parkinson's Podcast. Welcome to the Hear, Hear Parkinson's Podcast, where you will hear from special guests covering the world of Parkinson's with a deep dive on the World Parkinson Congress and a look at how the WPC has helped make extraordinary progress in the Parkinson's community by creating space for people with Parkinson's to have a seat at the table.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Hear, Hear podcast. My name is Eli Pollard. I'm the Executive Director of the World Parkinson Coalition, and I'm thrilled to be here today as the host for our podcast. And I'm joined by a special co-host today, Margie Zimmerman. Margie?
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for asking me to co-host today. My name, as Eli says, Margie Zimmerman. I hail from the East Coast, Washington, D.C., and North Carolina. Time is split sometimes between those two. And a topic very, very near and dear to my heart, parenting and Parkinson's, affects so many people. And I'm really happy to speak with Naomi and her daughter. Really, really thrilled to be here. Thanks, Eli.
Likewise, Margie. And so you already gave away the topic. The topic is parenting and Parkinson's and growing up as a child in a household with a parent with Parkinson's. So we have a tag team today, which is really wonderful. Naomi Estolas, who is one of our Parkinson ambassadors, and her beautiful and lovely daughter, Ruby, who is going to talk to us today about, growing up with Parkinson's, and Naomi's going to talk to us about raising a child with Parkinson's. And of course, we're always going to talk about the WPC as well. So, yeah, let's kick off. So Naomi, do you want to just share a little bit about, your sort of Parkinson's journey in a nutshell? It's hard to do that, I know, but.
Well, I was diagnosed over 10 years ago, and like many who have Parkinson's, they know their symptoms go back years before that. And when I was diagnosed, I had my daughter and my son, and they were still in school. I was still working full time. So everything was, really hitting me when you have all of that. And a lot of times people think it's just like elder men that have it, but Parkinson's doesn't discriminate.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
True.
So, and when you get the news, it impacts the whole family. So we've been working together for over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I'm curious. So you were diagnosed more than 10 years ago. And how did you share the news with Ruby? And Ruby, what's your memory of that?
So I recall I was in, what grade was that? 2015? So I was in around 5th or 6th grade, and my parents came home with my favorite dinner, which is a sushi dinner. I was like, yes.
Yeah, what's up? What are we celebrating?
Exactly. What are we celebrating? Yeah. And we ate some sushi, and then we were around the table, and my mom was like, we have some news to share with you. I have Parkinson's. And by the end of that conversation, there wasn't a sense of distress, but a sense of, what does this mean? And how is this supposed to impact us? Because Ruby, it's one thing just to be told you have Parkinson's, it's another to figure out how to live with it.
Ruby, had you ever heard of Parkinson's before this?
No.
Were you even aware of the term?
No, never. This is the first time, my first exposure to Parkinson's. And by the end of that conversation, we were all in tears and just had so many questions about, how do we support each other? What is this going to look like? Is this something to be afraid of? And we enter that long journey that we've been on ever since.
And you know how she said, we're all in tears. If I could do this over, I would have waited a little, because I wanted my children to know, but I was still accepting it. So I really feel like the way you respond when you're sharing something makes a difference to how they receive it. So I was still like a mess, trying to figure things out when I shared it.
Yeah, I think it's very valid, Naomi, what you share. Yeah, as far as you were still a mess, the initial shock of getting the diagnosis of Parkinson's. I was, my youngest was 11 at the time. I have 7 children. My youngest was 11 when I was diagnosed. And for me, it was 15 years ago. And I echo everything that you're saying. And Ruby, you bring up some very valid things with, just again, not being knowing really what Parkinson's involved. But what I hear from this is I'm so happy to hear the open communication that started from the get-go, because that really, I think, it's not for everyone, but I believe that being honest with children, being age appropriate when you talk with them is key. And it sounds like, Naomi, you said you wish you had waited, but in the long run, I think you opened the door from the beginning and you included your family right away. And I say, hats off to you for that. And it seems like you've kept the communication going, obviously, with Ruby. Terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. We all want to protect our kids. We don't want them to see us as vulnerable, but I also do feel that as a parent of teenagers myself, it is important for them to see you are just human. And I agree with Margie. I think it could have gone both ways, Naomi. I was going to ask you that exact question, and then you jumped ahead and said you shared it and you might have waited. But so after you got that out and you had that conversation, so 10 years ago, you got pretty engaged pretty quickly, didn't you, Naomi? I mean, what was your path then? How did you connect with the community, and when did you start meeting other people with Parkinson's?
It's my nature, to learn about it. I used to work in the information systems area doing all of these technical implementations. And part of my role was change management. So there's a change cycle. So I already knew that you have to go through all of this, anger, just acceptance, grieving. It's like the grieving process. So what I did right away is I started looking at the internet, and that throws you off because there's a lot of junk out there. I was like, okay, I don't want to see that.
You need another box of Kleenex, right? Bring on the Kleenex when you read the internet.
So different seminars and symposiums, and we started jumping in right away to just learn about it. And that helped a lot.
I think, information is power. And, the more you know, the more you can, I feel, deal with what you're up against. And there's a lot of things we're up against with PD, that's for sure. Yeah. But the support, of your family, particularly children, is really, really phenomenal. Ruby, what was, after you initially found out, what were your, say, within the next 6 months or so? Did you share with friends? Did you have someone that you spoke with? Did you feel like, did you shut down? What was your initial response?
For asking that, I honestly felt like I did not have a space to share until several years later, largely because I was, as my mom said, even though I know she did her absolute best, and my props to her, she is my hero. There still was fear attached to the message of I have Parkinson's, and that was translated to me. And so I was asked to not share about the diagnosis outside of our own family due to the possibility of her professional work being compromised and some other unknowns.
Yeah.
And I wanted to respect my mom. And so out of that wish, I didn't initially share. And I think that produced a bit of internal distress where I was left to really think about what this means, but a lot of it was happening inside of me, and I didn't know if I was supposed to be I think that there's this bit of like embarrassment and shame attached to, oh, my mom has Parkinson's. And I don't know any other people whose moms have Parkinson's.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now our car has a disability placard on its license.
Right.
And it's like a literal marker, and people are asking me, but I'm not allowed to share. Like,
Oh,
how do I manage these
yeah.
tensions?
That was a dilemma for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was hard because I was working full time and supporting the family. So when I talked to someone in the HR area, they had recommended that I don't say anything. And it was hard because she went to school with my coworker's
Wow.
kid.
Yeah.
So that put a burden on both of us, to not share. So once I shared,
Mm.
then that relieved so much for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it began the journey of healing and healing loudly.
I like,
Share with us what that involved, Ruby, because
yeah,
it
well,
sounds very enticing. Share with us, please.
I think there's a tendency to do things on our own and do it in silence. Let me just pull it together and get through this. But that actually denies our human experience and the story that we've been given. And so there's a need to heal and to do it with voice and empowerment, because it shows other people that there's space for them to heal and that they're not alone. And it doesn't give power to the Parkinsons. It actually gives power to the community and to the healing that's taking place. And so there's a need to share our story as what we're doing this morning. And so we have since been on that journey of healing loudly, and am excited to see where it continues to take us.
I love that term, healing loudly. I've never heard
Yes, so do
say
I.
that together, say that before, but and I don't know if you just made it up, but I love that. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna copy that from you. I'll credit you, Naomi, or, Ruby. That's brilliant. So I have a question. So Ruby, once you were able to start sharing and healing loudly, um, did you meet other kids who were like, oh, yeah, like my dad has Parkinson's or my grandma has Parkinson's or my mom? Did you find other people that you were able to then talk to? And what was that like?
Yes, I remember. Okay, so my first experience was at the Kyoto, Japan 2019 WPC, where I actually attended a children for Parkinson, like children
Yeah.
of people with Parkinson's
Ooh.
workshop.
Yeah, great. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it was interesting because the next youngest child was like 45 years old. And I was still in high school.
That
And
was a
so
little awkward.
initially, yeah, a little bit. But I found myself sharing about my mom and sharing about the way that I just wonder how our story is going to be used to impact people. And by the end of that workshop, the entire team, like all 10 people were in tears, crying because they also they were just moved. And each one came up to me afterwards and shared their own experience of what it was like to be a child.
Mm.
And it didn't
Uh,
matter if we had this huge age gap, we were all still children. And
well, Ruby, I've got chill bumps on my own skin here.
we all
Wow.
still had this mutual experience of we love our mom, we love our dad, we just want to be their son or daughter. How do we do that still? How do we live into this role? And then since that then I have also met people closer to my age that are living in this experience where they are still going to school. They are coming into young adulthood, and have been able to connect about Parkinson's, via a more age proximity. But I would say I've been able to speak to children across the board, no matter the age. We're all children when it comes down to it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Ruby, did you feel, particularly when you were younger, was it important to you, or did you watch your mother take care of herself? Was that like her self-care? Was that important to you?
Hmm.
like to see what your mom was doing for herself and how she was managing alone?
Yeah, good question. Something I recall just in this conversation is when my mom first shared about having Parkinson's, even if it wasn't the cleanest share, it was her inviting us into the messiness and saying that I'm human. And like you said, Margie, like that began this open conversation. And so I think that communication has been vital to our relationship staying alive and being one of quality. And that's also a way to take care of yourself is by continuing in that communication. And so I think because my mom has maintained transparency and honesty about the challenges of Parkinson's, I see her taking care of herself in that way. And then on a more like day-to-day level, she plays pickleball every other day and she works out and she keeps talking to people and she advocates for herself.
Cool.
And so I see her caring for her well-being. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, you've answered beautifully.
Your mom's a champion on self-care, I think. I have a question. So Naomi, you said, you were diagnosed around 10 years ago. So it was around 2014, 2015?
2015.
So you attended the World Parkinson Congress in 2016 in Portland. So that was a pretty quick, like a year or so after your diagnosis, you were already going to scientific meeting to learn about this disease that you had, this diagnosis. How did the WPC shift your sort of everything for you? How did it impact you? And then also, did the WPC help you make the decision to be more open about your diagnosis? Like, what was the trigger that sort of led you down that path?
Well, just being there was amazing. Just all the relationships that I made and I still have, to this day, and all the people that I met, it was very inspiring and motivating. People from all around the world. I'm still in contact with those people too. And just everything that we learned and that we shared together, everyone understands, to be in that community. So it was just an amazing experience. And I felt so fortunate that I live in the US and it was right here.
Yeah.
So now the next one is again in the US, and I really encourage everyone to be there.
Well, I love that you went to the WPC 2016 in Portland and you left and you knew that the next one was going to Kyoto, Japan. And you immediately came up with this idea for this creativity project. And I heard through the grapevine, yeah, there's this group of women in California making origami cranes. You should talk to them because they want to do it at the WPC. And that's how we, I think, really first met, was you sharing this idea. Can you just, like, for people who don't know about this work you did, can you just give a little synopsis of what this creativity project was? You were so inspired in Portland that you were like, not only am I going to go to Kyoto to the next one, I'm going to do this massive creativity project and have it displayed in Kyoto. Like you had a vision. So tell us about what you did after Portland.
Well, it's kind of funny because I was just with a couple of friends that also I met because they have Parkinson's. And we were at a barbecue and just folding origami. And then I had the idea like, hey, wouldn't it be neat if we could do 1,000 cranes? And then I said, what if we do 10,000 cranes? And we thought, that's crazy, but we liked it. And we came up with the name, Soaring with Hope for Parkinson's. So that idea turned into something really magical. We had people from all over the world. Over like 39 countries contributed, and we collected over 16,000 cranes.
Wow.
Half had messages of hope on the wings. Some looked like a pterodactyl. You couldn't tell what it was, but every crane was made with purpose and intention. So it was still beautiful no matter what. And then we suspended the 16,000 cranes from over 30 colorful umbrellas. So when people saw it, it was like walking through a magical forest of cranes.
It really was. It was stunning, stunning.
Yeah, I didn't make the Kyoto, Japan. I've been to the others, but I had a conflict at that year. But
Well, we'll have to get a photo out of this one with this podcast because it really was like walking through a magical forest.
wow.
Quite
Now,
beautiful.
Ruby, you mentioned you went to Japan with your mom. Did you feel that the WPC fed you as a child with parent with Parkinson's with enough information? In other words, did you find some of your needs intellectually or emotionally what you were looking for going to the WPC? Did you feel that they met those needs adequately?
Yes. I was so amazed by the project that I also had the chance to work on with my mom. And this project became an outlet for me to talk about Parkinson's, where, as I shared earlier, the initial diagnosis came with, please don't share beyond our family,
Okay.
beyond these walls. But then how do you not share when you have 16,000 origami cranes in your taking up your entire living room and you're heading to Kyoto, Japan? So it became a clear outlet for me to talk about Parkinson's in a way that said, this is hard, and look what we're doing with it. Like, our story continues and we're creating something beautiful.
Mm.
And then you attend the WPC and you see this beauty expanded of like, okay, first I just know my mom, then I know these cranes, then I know a whole community and hundreds of people that are sharing in the experience of Parkinson's, and they're then becoming part of my story and vice versa. And so I think it really opened up my eyes to what was out there, that I wasn't alone, and honestly that my mom was in good hands.
Mm.
I ultimately don't know what it's like to wake up and feel like my body's heavy because I have Parkinson's, and don't know what it's like to struggle with fine motor skills. But I do know my mom, and I do know that I care and love her so much. And to see her amongst other people that understood her grew my sense of empathy, and also is like, my mom's going to be okay. She's in good hands.
That is so
That's
wonderful.
beautiful. It's just, yeah, it's like a Hallmark card.
That's what they call me. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I have heard other, it's so, there is something people say it's freeing to be at the WPC because you can truly be in a space where people understand and get you. And I know we talk a lot about that with people with Parkinson's saying that, but you mentioned something to me, Ruby, on an earlier call. You had said you found people who understood your language. So that's the same sort of messaging. So can you talk a little bit about how you felt as a an adult child or younger, verging young adult child?
Yes. Yes, I was a incoming junior in high school when I attended, and now I've graduated college. So
Just
just
recently.
recently.
Yeah.
And thank you. I I think language is so important, and it defines our world. It defines how we relate to each other. And when you have limited language, you have limited connection.
Mm.
And so when you go to a concentrated space with people who understand dyskinesia and movement disorders and Parkinson's language that I can't just share with the neighbor next door, it opens up your world, and it shows you that there's a reality, like it validates your reality
Yes.
because we're using
Of
this language
course,
every
of
day. But then when you hear
course.
that other people are using the same language, it's like, oh, we're not crazy. We're not the only ones who speak like this. And it was validating to our story, to our reality, to our relationship. And then it opened up our world even more because we met other people who could share in this language. And so it just continues this like somersault effect of let's keep talking about this. And I feel pushed even now, like my mom is so involved, and when I come to meetings like this and it's so focused, like I'm again reminded of like keep talking about Parkinson's, keep sharing in this language because it's connecting you and it's keeping me heard and it's allowing our story to keep mattering to us and to this world.
That is so important. I just love everything you said. It's so
Yes.
true. We at the last World Parkinson Congress in Barcelona, we had a lot of teenagers and young adults volunteering because their parents were attending the conference and they wanted to be there, so they volunteered and they participated in that way. And it was pretty wonderful. Afterward, I was talking to one of the moms of a younger kid who volunteered, and we were kind of in awe, and we saw these teenagers and young adults connecting, and so they're like the next generation. So it would be like your peers, Ruby. And we joked, there's this old cartoon that used to be on the TV years ago where it was called Wonder Twin Powers, and the Wonder Twins would like activate, they would like, activate and become we joked because like the Wonder Twin Powers activate form of a Parkinson advocate. Like we were activating the next generation and we were like, wow, so the next generation is going to enter this space being so knowledgeable and so much more comfortable, and they're going to keep the conversation going.
Mhm.
And, years ago, people like just never wanted to talk about Parkinson's. And there are still some places in the world where there's so much shame and taboo that they can't talk about it for various reasons. So the fact is, we need not just a generation that's living with it, but the whole family, to be talking about it as well, and to make sure that people know it's okay to talk about it, and that there are people out there. This is so great. I love having this family interview on the podcast. It's really wonderful. Um, yeah, so I think I want to ask you one more question, Ruby. Your mom is an ambassador and she's out there talking to people all the time about why they should come. But as an adult child, if you met someone whose parent had Parkinson's, what would you say to them from your perspective about why they should consider going as a volunteer or as a learner, whatever?
Mhm.
Mhm. I'm sometimes an internal processor, so I'm taking the question in for a second. Hmm. Hmm. The phrase "it matters" is what immediately comes up. I think I didn't realize how much my mom's story impacted mine until I start sharing about it and meeting other people who have that same experience.
Mhm.
Because to me, I'm just living my life. And then before I know it, a lot of the things I've experienced are directly connected to my family of origin, to the experiences of my mom and dad. And to understand myself, I need to understand them. And so I think I would encourage someone to attend the WPC. One, because it's an opportunity to support your loved one. But then two, I think it's an opportunity to further understand yourself and to further understand your role in this, what feels separate, but this, what is actually interconnected, interdependent world and community. And so I grew in my own understanding of who I am in relation to Parkinson's, in relation to my mom, because I attended. And that shapes how I continue to do every day with my mom. So that would be my encouragement to come to WPC.
Here, here.
Here, 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 here. Ruby, if I may ask just a little diversional question, um, because I mean, you and your mom's relationship, I mean, it's like what every family would really aspire to have as far as communication. Just listening to you and watching the two of you, is there anything that you felt in your child, particularly your earlier years, not so much as a young adult, but as a younger child, that the Parkinson's or your mom's situation negatively impact your childhood? And was there anything that you felt deprived of because of it?
Ooh. That kind of hits a nose, honestly, on some more current reflection I've been doing about growing up with a mom with Parkinson's. And I think sometimes I've noticed in myself, and I'm working through it, is like an ability to resent Parkinson's, but can sometimes come out as resent towards my mom. Um, and and I think there's a sense of, well, everyone else's mom can still pick them up from school. Why can't my mom drive me?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
needing to be hyper aware of her energy levels and making sure she has a seat that is in the shade if we're outside, and these ways that I was just extra attentive and prompted me to mature faster than a lot of my peers. And I think there was a resentment that felt like I don't know what it's like to be a child. Of I know I'm my mom's daughter, but the understanding of a mom-daughter relationship that I see in my friends, that I see on media, is not the one that I have with my mom. Um, see my mom when she's crying almost every day. And she needs help to go to the car and to find things, and to take a shower, things like that. And so I think there's a real sense of grief that I'm working through, even in this present day, that I'm realizing, oh, I actually need to relearn what it's like to be your kid. And even though I'm a young adult, there's there's actually been a sense of like, help me to learn how to be a kid again with you, Mom. And we are navigating that because yes, I'm a young adult and I'm starting to work and I'm living on my own and all the things. But I also am like, how do I connect to my mom still? Because not only are my needs changing because I'm growing as a young adult, but also my mom has Parkinson's. And so, like, I don't know how to connect with her. And we're so different. We're so different. It's so hard sometimes. We communicate because we have to. It's because we don't actually understand each other. And so, like, she's extremely, how would you just like process oriented, A, B, C, D. I'm very much like, let's work in the nuances and the tensions and abstracts of life.
Well, together you make a beautiful symphony. I'll say that.
Right. And so, but in spite of all of that, the differences, the Parkinson's, the growing up, we have to communicate.
Yeah.
And that means me being honest with the grief cycle that and resentment that has come up. And learning how to tell my mom, Mom, there's things I need you to do differently, and I have different needs that you're not meeting, but that doesn't mean you're a bad mom.
And how do
And I
you
know.
react to that, Naomi?
Yeah, well, how do you react to that? She asked.
I think I've had to grow as a mom, just like all the different stages when she went to college or just like even now, there's things that a mom wants to do for their kids or they don't want to see them struggle. And I have to take a step back, like, okay, do you want to hear what I have to say?
And I'm like,
or am I just listening, But I appreciate, I appreciate Ruby.
Yeah. And that's something I'm really trying to take in is like, my mom's a human and she's doing her best. And like I say that not with the full understanding of it because my mom's still my hero and I think she can do everything in this whole world. But and that can lead to some disappointment sometimes. But if I can accept that my mom has done her absolute best, that's really freeing for me to see her in her humanity. And then
Because
also
then you don't feel like she's fallen short of your expectations.
yeah, exactly. And just to live as her daughter, live the life that's before us.
I love that, Ruby. It's so insightful. I mean, I say it
It
as a
is.
mom of two teenagers, and I've raised a niece and others. And when they were upset with the things I was doing, I'm like, listen, I really am just doing my best.
Right. That's all we could do.
And I promise when you become a parent someday, if that's your path, you will understand what I mean. But like, we're all just human and we're just trying to get through and do the best that we can for you and keep things moving forward. But I think it's so great that you have that insight, and you even though you know it's not perfect, you understand that,
and that you can openly communicate that, Ruby and Naomi.
Agree.
I mean, parents, be it mother to mother, mother to son, etc. That communication, those communication lines, very often are crossed, or there's just major barriers, and it seems like you can openly tell your mom, hey mom, I'm not happy with what you're doing this right now. And Naomi, you can respond appropriately. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. So I know we're having great conversation, but we do need to wrap up our podcast today. And I think this has just been incredibly fun. We're going to end on a fun note. Our main host, Edgar, is not with us today on this podcast, but he has a couple of questions he loves to ask our guests to tell us a little bit about who you are, aside from what we heard today. So if you were stuck in an elevator for a short period of time, in any time or space continuum, anywhere at any time, who would you want to be stuck on the elevator with? And it could be living, dead, at any time in history. Who would you want to have a little time to just trap in an elevator and chat with?
Well, on the elevator, I would say my husband, but if that wasn't a choice, I would say Michael J. Fox.
Ooh.
Because I just feel like he's done so much, and he has a sense of humor. We're like around the same age. We've been married around the same number of years. I really would love to meet him.
Cool. All right. So husband gets the first vote, and then back up if husband can't be there. Fair enough. I think that's fair. Okay. And Ruby?
Okay, I have two answers. First one, Oprah.
Awesome.
Wouldn't that just be fun? And she would be like, turn around, and then I'd win a whole vacation to Hawaii. So definitely Oprah.
Look under your seat. There's a prize for you.
One of Oprah's giveaway days.
Your favorite things, yeah.
Yeah, but beyond that, she's just an impactful and interesting person, and I think would offer great insight into life. And then my second answer would be my mom. But hear this, my mom as a teenager.
Oh.
Or my mom as a young adult, because I would love to like learn about my mom and who she is and like talk to her. And if there's time on a trapped elevator, like imagine your future daughter talking to you.
I have plenty of movies and stuff.
You're the first one who's given an answer like that, Ruby, and I love it. I want to be trapped with that person, but I want them to be a different generation of that person. Very cool answer. I love it. All answers very good. And they tell me a lot about you, and I love that. Okay, and then the last question, we're switching over to music, right? So you are trapped on a desert island, just you. Weirdly, there happens to be a record player and you can power it, play one favorite song or album. What would you love to listen to while you're trapped, maybe for a very long time?
I think that's a hard one.
She loves music.
It's going to either be Coldplay, which I'm going to see on Sunday.
Woohoo!
For like the 6th time, or Yo-Yo Ma. I love the deep cello, and that's just so relaxing. Whatever you're going through, I just listen, and it just fills me with joy and just a sense of relaxation.
I love it. And you, Ruby?
I would say the song Sun Goddess, featuring Ramsey Lewis by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Okay. I
love the intro. It's smooth. It's a song
I like Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm not familiar with that song.
Yes, it's so good. I listen to it most mornings.
Oh, I'm going to have to listen to this
on
my rotation.
Do it.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay.
For me, yes.
Great music choices. And I love they're going to see Coldplay for the 6th time, Naomi. Now I know a little more about you. What a great what a great podcast today. Thank you so much, Margie Zimmerman, for co-hosting.
Oh, my pleasure indeed. I cannot thank you enough, Eli. And Ruby, I am so impressed with you. And Naomi, you as well. I look forward so much to meeting in person with you at WPC in Phoenix. Let's go. And I wish you individually and collectively all the best that life has to offer.
Amazing.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for having us. This has been fun.
So fun.
Yeah, so the dynamic duo out of the Estolas property and household in Southern California. We're really happy to have you join us, and I also look forward to seeing you both in Phoenix, if not before, in Phoenix at the WPC from May 24th to 27th. And Ruby, I think you're gonna have a blast. I know you're planning on being there, tentatively planning on being there, assuming your new job allows you the time off. It'd be great to meet you in person, and there will be a lot of other young adults running around. So I think you'll find your I guess tribe and your network and your people, and have and be able to expand that community even further. So amazing. Okay, thanks so much, everybody. We will.
Thank you, and have a beautiful day, all of you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Here Here Parkinson's podcast. If you would like to experience the next World Parkinson Congress for yourself, to feel and see the change in real time, save the date to join us from May 24th to the 27th, 2026 in Phoenix, Arizona. Learn more at WPC2026.org. This podcast series is made possible with support from Blue Rock Therapeutics.